Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the Ted Show. This is actually my coffee and conversation show and series with my dear friend, the one and only real estate guru. I'm trying, Walt. The Hawaiian vibin', Mr. Hawaiian vibin', Walter Key. Walt Key, what's up, brother? How you doing today?
And I am living the dream. I'm digging that shirt you're wearing today, man. That is
Look at
looking
this.
sharp.
This is like my Palm Royale,
I like it.
Palm Beach. There's
I
shorts
won't
to match.
I won't say I'm rubbing off on you, but I'll let the audience decide whether I'm rubbing off on you.
Exactly.
I like it a
And
lot.
this is the perfect show for me to wear this. I happen to
Heck
be
yeah.
working from home today. I'm cozy. I'm colorful still. You know, I'm always going to be colorful. But
Love it.
so how are you doing, my friend? How are
I
things
am
going?
doing fantastic. It's Monday. It's my favorite day of the week.
It is.
That's where everything gets solidified for the success for the rest of the week. We do our 100K challenge accountability call on Mondays. We crush that. We just start the week off right. So I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Interesting stuff last week. But before we get to FHA and the interest rates and the bond market and all of that good stuff, let's talk about our events because I sometimes forget to bring those up, and you were kind enough to mention it before we went
Well,
live.
let's talk about yours. I want to hear more about your events. You got some really great stuff coming up.
I do. So this week I have a Mastering the Open House with one of your colleagues, Max Wardlaw.
Wonderful human being.
I'm a wonderful human being, and we are blessed enough to sponsor that, be part of that. And I have experienced that before. He did it at Citrus Club for a group a while back. And so I'm really excited. I feel like open houses get a bad rap, and they are such a great way, phenomenal way to build a foundation and build your sphere. So that
open
is
houses are one of the 5 core strategies we teach in our challenge. That's how important open houses are. They are such a beautiful way, not only to build your own business, but to build relationships with other people, to market yourself, to brand yourself in your community. There's so much great stuff that happens at an open house. I wish I could come down there for the open house mastermind, honestly.
I know.
I know he's going to kill it. It's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. That is Thursday, 11 to 1, I believe, or 11 to 2 it might be. But there's a nice little lunch and learn. And as you can imagine, I may or may not be bringing bubbles. So we will certainly enjoy the mastering the open house. And then that evening we're just trying to put together some fun, unique real estate exchange kind of networking events that aren't the same boring stuff. So we have a connecting, it's called networking night on Thursday evening. That's in a whole bunch of vendors are going to be in a big room with us. And we're trying to expand. The whole thought process is, why are we only ever inviting title companies, mortgage companies, and that little small circle? We have people in construction coming, electricians coming, that whole gamut of people who do business in our world, but we never seem to include them in.
Yeah.
So we wanted to try something different. So that is Thursday. Next week, I'm full. I have our LGBTQ plus Real Estate Alliance Mastermind. We do that once a month. That is Monday. I've got 3 events, I believe, on the 17th. All are different and unique. And what I'm trying to do, and all of that, by the way, you can find by going to Linktree and searching my name. And that's scrolling across the bottom, just like Walt's is too. It's where you can find everything you could possibly want to know about me, including my events. And you can register directly from there. But we're trying to create and curate events that are different. I don't want the same people at everything, unless it's a mastermind like you and I were talking about before, where there's a commitment level. I want it to be more inclusive and expansive rather than the same people sitting at the table talking about the same exact thing every single month. I'm bored. You either already do business with me or you don't. And if you don't, you probably aren't going to. So why are we all in the same room again during that month? So I'm really working on shifting things as much to invite only. I'm still doing some industry stuff, but my behind the scenes stuff doesn't even show up on my Linktree, some of the stuff that I'm doing. So it's really about bringing value to my realtor partners and my other partners and trying to find ways to help them grow their sphere in their business. So how about you?
So this month and next month are pretty trim right now. So we've got our 100K challenge round 10. We've been doing this for almost a year now. That'll be launching on May 6th. will be 10 rounds of that challenge. We just had our accountability call for round 9, which is the first one today. And then every Friday, we do a brokerage breakdown just to say, hey, if you're interested to hear about what Epic's doing and how they're structured, jump in for a Zoom call, 30, 40 minutes. That's just a recurring every Friday thing. I don't have a ton of coaching calls this month for April. I've got a lot of other things going on outside the Zoom world. And so I've trimmed back the coaching calls. In May, I'll kick them back up. We'll probably do another business planning for realtors course. I might do another creating perpetual cycle of business with FSBAs and landlords course. But April's going to be pretty quiet.
Good. You probably need the break.
I won't be sad. I won't be sad for sure.
All right. Well, let's take a couple of things happened last week, as they all do. You know, we have a lot of stuff going on nationally. And one of the things that Walt and I were talking about before we went live is this update, this new FHA guidelines. Maybe it's a reiteration of. I think it's always been there, but it's a little bit of a revision to the residency requirements. And I don't know if you can see me or, okay, good. There we go. I don't know what's here. Let's try to do it where we have this. Oh, I don't want just me. I want you. There we go. You can't really see it on StreamYard, so it makes it a little different. So it's revisions. You can go to the HUD website. And I'll drop since nobody can probably read that, I will drop the link into my body of this post or the comments below. But basically, this talks about residency requirements. So what's all the hubbub from your perspective? Walt?
Yeah, so let's caveat this one with the media coverage on this update is pretty sensationalized. And I've seen headlines that say FHA won't let illegal aliens buy houses. And I'm like, really? Like, go read the 7-page document for yourself, for gosh.
Only 7 pages, y'all.
It's actually really like 6 pages. The 7th page is like 3 sentences, right? It's a 6-page PDF. We'll drop the source document there. Don't go online and try to find this. You're going to get all kinds of craziness, a bunch of sensational clickbait headlines. Yes, there are some residency requirements for FHA loans on residences, right? It's not anything crazy. Read it for yourself. If you have questions, ask your preferred lender partner, right? Reach out to us. We'll break it down for you. I don't want to go into the nerdy details, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not as sensationalized as you're hearing on the media. Read the source document for yourself, and you're going to go, oh, okay, got it. This actually really doesn't affect almost any of my clients. I got it. Okay, tracking, right?
I mean, you know what? You always want to pay attention when there's anything that says revision, right? Yeah. But I almost believe that most people didn't know what it looked like before the revision.
Right.
No offense to anybody. So yeah, the revision part, it's a revision. So you look at it and you adapt. You figure out how it impacts you, if it impacts you at all. And this just goes back to our many discussions that you and I have had privately and even on here. You really need to consider your source and go to the actual source instead of XYZ website or XYZ social media page. It's super important for you to read it on your own and then ask questions. The information that you get isn't always disseminated the way that it was meant. The intent is misconstrued, which is, I feel like, what happened here. All right, let's talk about the bond market and the interest rates a little bit. So I got a lot of tons of people, to be honest with you. Oh my God, Ted, the bond market did this, and now we're going to have interest rates in the 5s, maybe today.
I've heard that ridiculousness too. I actually saw, I wanted so much to comment, and then I was like, there's nothing good that'll come of the conversation. I'm just going to leave it alone. I saw a post that literally said, within the next 18 months, interest rates will be back in the 3s. And I just shook my head, and I'm like, I hope none of your clients hear you say that.
Correct.
And actually have that expectation in their head, because that is such a ridiculous statement. Not going to happen.
I mean, let's talk about that. So the 3%, that was such an interesting anomaly around COVID and the pandemic. But let's say that you start informing people that, wouldn't you then maybe wait? Like, I don't know. How is this positive that you're sharing that? If you want to estimate that maybe the rates, which I believe at some point we'll see fives, but the market isn't reacting the way it normally would because we're not in a normal market nationally. We have a lot of things going on, so you can't use historical data or patterns because it's different.
It's different. But even so, let's accept, I'm a 21-year Navy veteran. I was a government analyst for decades. Historical analysis and trend analysis is in my DNA, right? So let's just say for a moment, we were going to look backwards to assess what we might see in the future. Let's do that, actually. As far back as the early 70s, 1970s, a long time ago, folks, we started tracking the 30-year fixed rate mortgage in America. In 1971. You do not take Walt's word for this. Do not take Ted's word for this. Go look this up yourself. Go to Fed St. Louis 30-year fixed. Look at the chart yourself. Here's a statistical fact for you. Since 1971, throughout the entire course of mortgage history up until now, interest rates were never below 5% until the crash of 2009. And we literally rewrote federal legislation so that problem could never exist again. Okay. Then we had COVID in the early 20s. That drove the interest rates down some more as they were starting to creep back up. Bottom line, statistically and historically, an interest rate below 5% is a historical anomaly that we may never see again, short of some points that pays down your rate.
Correct.
So for someone to say, oh, in a year or two, they'll be back in the threes, is an ignorant, uninformed, I'm not trying to be mean to people, it is an ignorant and uninformed statement that is going to disenfranchise your own clients because it is absolutely false. Go look at the data for yourself and understand where we're at and where we will logically be. You can do that for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it.
Yes, go to the source, look at it yourself. Like I understand why people want to believe, right? We all have a wish. But the challenge with that is then if you begin putting that in the minds of the people that you do business with, it's a lose-lose for everybody involved. They want to wait. Sellers still remain empowered that they're going to have all of these offers. It's just creating this false sense that does no one any good. I mean, it's a marketing ploy at best, and dangerous, I feel like.
Absolutely.
Worse.
I've coached agents on this for a long time about the sub 5% interest rate, how to have a conversation with your buyers about in America, we have very short-term memory.
We do.
So
God, we have no memory. It's like Dory.
Even if you were to look in 2023, 2024, interest rates are 6-7%. But we remembered, well, I mean, in 2021, it was 3%. That was a short term. We didn't look at 2010 when it was 5%. We didn't look at 2000 when it was 8%.
Yeah.
We're super short-term memory. Yes. Now that we've been in the 6s and 7s, and actually in October of last year, we bumped 8, which I called, by the way. Walt Key said we'd hit 8. We hit 8. I have my crystal ball rocking and rolling.
You had it.
We're already here in 2025. That short-term memory is now, 2 years ago, we were in the 6s and 7s. So we bumped up to 8, but now we're back down in the 6s. And people are already starting to psychologically think, well, interest rates are starting to feel pretty good because they're not at 8 anymore.
Correct.
You got to think a little bit longer term. You got to look at the bigger picture because real estate is not a short-term game.
Yep.
You got to help your clients understand the longevity of their investment. And it's not just, hey, this is what happened last year, therefore, right? Help them understand what real estate does over time. And they'll be far less reluctant to dive in when the interest rate's at 6.5, 6 3/4, 6 1/4 in probably the next several months. Just
Agreed.
food for thought. And I dropped the link in the chat, so Ted can drop it in the chat. I put Fed St. Louis. I'm on this site all the time. It's a wonderful site. I put their chart link in the comments. We'll get that posted. Go look at that for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Go analyze the data.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I know you're right. I tell people all the time, you've got to go to the actual source. You can't go to people.com, no offense, and get your mortgage news or your real estate news. You can't even trust some of the publications that may or may not have read your whole life, because we live in a different world and you really have to go to the source documents. Yep. And sometimes it takes a lot of layers, which is why we as Americans say we're all immediate gratification. So we want to just look at the easiest thing and then go, that's what I believe, and go for it. So I just want to encourage you all to go to the sources. You can find them if you do a little bit of work. And then I believe it will take a lot of the fear and trepidation away from what some people are feeling as well. So, all right. So what else? Anything else before we wrap up, my friend? I think those are two big things. And
I'll try not to get on a soapbox here with the data. Whether you're a lender or a realtor, the single greatest thing you can do for your business is to educate in order to empower. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of fear. Fear creates hesitation. If I don't know what I'm stepping into, I'm not walking forward, right? That's a normal psychological process. If I don't understand it, I'm not going to engage in it. It's a protection mechanism from our caveman days, right?
Yeah.
If you educate your clients, you will empower them to make decisions. And that's good for your client, but it's also good for your business. Don't lie to them. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't give them some fairy tale idea. Show them the data. Walk them through the education process, and they will then be comfortable enough to make a decision with you. And that will benefit your business.
Yes. Excellent. Educate yourself to empower.
Educate to empower.
I love that. All right. That's going to be a hashtag for sure. All right. Walt Key, always a joy to have you on. Thank you so much. What's the best way people can find you, learn about your classes, your events, all the things that you do?
If you are on Facebook, I'm probably the only Walter Key wearing a Hawaiian shirt in all of Facebook. You'll find me super easy. You can go to my link tree. That's going to have my Eventbrite page where all of my coaching calls and challenges and events are posted. All my socials, all my contact information. Link tree is the easiest. Or just put Walt Key Realtor in your Google search. I'm the only one.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing your wisdom every week with us, my friend. I appreciate you. You all, if you have questions for next week, let us know. We'd love to answer them. We know there's a lot going on. I'm getting side questions a lot. So if you know me, you don't want to just tell that to my face. I need you to text it to me or write it down because auditory is not my way of learning or remembering. So please ask. We'd love to answer. We'd love to provide our insights. We'll always, when we can get down to the bottom source, we will give you the source too. So that's how we rock and roll. All right, my friend, have a good week.
You guys have a great week.
Soon. Bye, everybody.